robbery. Hands in the sky if you got a dream. Learn nothing was blocking me. I was the problem, the only one stopping me. I didn't like it, I had to refocus. Now I'm devoted, I know where I'm going. Controlling emotions, I'm owning the moment. In order to get it, see, you gotta want it. If I make a living break. Confessions over these 808s. Don't sleep on the key, better stay away. I mean, for heaven's sake, I'ma be the best. Came from the endless lane wall games, bitch with the chest. Beating on my chest, trying to get my rest. Watch me while I flex. Every win is a blessing, and every L is a lesson. So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances of quitting are likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Quitting was never an option.
Some cars were just meant for certain tracks. GT3 cars were meant for Sebring. MX-5s were meant for Summit Point. The 87s were meant for Talladega. And the NASCAR Gen 4 stock cars were meant for Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. There is not a better venue on the iRacing service to sunset the OSRL Premier Series season than this 2-mile oval. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Split Second Broadcasting's coverage of the online Speedway Racing League Premier Series finale, the Tomas Sport Tuning 320K. I'm Hunter Brittle, alongside my good friend Ross Brockman, ready to bring you all the action of what is sure to be a race to be remembered. 4 drivers entered tonight with a shot at the championship, Ross, but only one can leave with the crown.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch these drivers. They've battled for many weeks. 17, this is our 17th race of the season here. Opportunity, that's counting our qualifying races that we started off with back at Daytona. I feel like that was just yesterday. Aiden Walker winning there in the qualifying races. Josh Chin did as well. Then we went to the big race, the 250, and Aiden Walker backed up the qualifying win there and won there. But then throughout the season, we saw Braden Movick win 3 out of 4. And take command of the points lead, then a win a couple weeks ago to extend that lead at Talladega, and now Ashley Kolnick's been closing in that 22 car. Going to make this at least an interesting battle between the two of them. Josh Chin also has an opportunity here tonight to get close, and William Schmidt a very far outside chance, but still alive as of load in tonight. So we'll see. Going to have to probably win to have a shot, but 4 drivers all battling it out here tonight, trying to get as many points to see if they can end up on top.
The great Yankee Yogi Berra once said, "It ain't over until it's over," and William Schmidt will be leaning on that very hard tonight in his efforts to secure yet another OSRL Premier Series championship. But the car that I've got my eye on is the 22 of Ashley Kolnick's white hot. 2 wins in the last 3 races. Look for that 22 car to solidify herself at the front of this pack tonight. The grid is rolling down the back straightaway, so let's go ahead and get the grid lineup for you. Josh Chin sitting 3rd in points, starting the night off exactly like he needs to, taking the top spot with Braden Movick to his outside, the championship leader.
All of our championship runners up near the front. Kolnick's in the 22 is 3rd. Aiden Walker, we talked about our opener winner, in 4th, going to try to end the season with a win.
OSRL mainstays in the next row. Nicholas Bedimlik rolls off 5th with Kendall Carpenter to the outside in 6th.
Starting 7th is the 31 of Mo Perry, and then William Schmidt in that 79, looking for that win to put a little bit of pressure on these drivers trying to close out the championship.
The 7 of Levi Wolf rolls off from the 9th spot with Dylan Dreiling to the outside in 10th.
Cole Forlin in the 3 alongside Bailey Thompson in the 27.
As the cars make their way down pit road, we'll run through the rest of the lineup here. Corey Rexford rolls off from the 13th spot with Jack Painter, league owner and admin, to the outside in 14th.
Dominic Barber-Jalalo and Chris Lilly 15th and 16th.
Justin Knutson rolls off from the 17th spot with Cole Freilich to the outside in 18th.
19th and 20th is the 90 of Nathan Barrows and the 70 of Harry Grindell.
I'll go ahead and speed through the rest of this lineup so that we can get our final thoughts in before they take the green flag. Nathan Chiani, 21st. Diego Roldan, 22nd. Isaac Johnson, 23rd. Madeline Roten rolls off from the 24th spot. Jonathan Oates rolls off 25th. Luke Breitschoff, 26th. Jonathan Palmieri, 27th. Marcus Smalden, 28th. Owen Chybinski, 29th. Trey Patton, 30th. Cooper Glick, 31st. Joe Armstrong, 32nd. Frank DeAngelis, 33rd. Griffin Jones, 34th. And Ruby Estes, 35th. Ross, who's your eye on tonight as we get set to go racing under the lights?
It'll be fun to see these championship. We have the three likely battlers up near the front here. It'll be fun to see them battle for the win, but also weigh in the points and try to win a championship. It'll be really fun to watch both those and see if it potentially is the same person.
I expect it to go right down to the wire here at an absolute perfect night for racing in the Gen 4 car on the perfect track to end it all. Green flag is out. We are underway here in the season finale of the OSRL Premier Series. Josh Chin gets a good jump, but Braden Movick is already on the charge on the outside. They'll be side by side heading off in the tournament. Around the outside. Movick taking no chances and no prisoners here tonight as the rest of the field scatters back behind. They're 4 wide down the back straightaway. Got one car dropping like a rock through the field. But up at the front, Braden Movick has opened that gap up already. 3 car lengths now as Kolonix stuck on the outside of the 39 of Aiden Walker. Now going to give up that position, going the wrong way here early on.
You talked about it at the top of the show about how this track is so made for this car, and you see even down the straightaway 3 and 4 wide back there, everybody choosing different lanes, and they get down to the corner, there's so many options. You saw Movick on the start use the top lane to just take off and grab that lead. Now you see Chin all the way up by the wall. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for these drivers just to move around, find different spots. Here comes Kolonix, lost a couple spots early, but battling back to the inside of Carpenter for 4th.
They'll dive off into turn number 3 this time. Kolonix gets the nose chopped off by Walker there. And here comes Carpenter on the outside. She doesn't even have a moment to breathe. Under attack is the championship runner-up as we've got a caution and a spinner on the front straightaway for the first time tonight. The number 3 car is around. Caution flag is out, and we will re-rack and restack after only 3 laps here at the Auto Club Speedway.
Handful of drivers that maybe were involved after the 3 had issues. You see the 83 there with significant damage on the front end. That's maybe a stack up here. Marcus Smalden. We'll have to see what the replay is. I was looking kind of just at the back of the pack just to see how everyone was kind of rolling on the start. Nathan Barrows was about a half a lap behind, maybe had issues on the start in the 90, but that was probably just as well because the back half of the field had this incident. Opportunity to get caught back up, but we'll see as Forland was kind of the start of that. And bottom here.
15 car there. Fralick got a little loose and sent that 3 car around, and then, yeah, everybody dog piles in. As wide as this track is, Ross, these cars still manage to find each other, especially on these on the exit of these corners, because they're carrying so much speed. That washout brings them all right back together there as we ride on board with the 3 of Cole Forland. Not a good start to the night for the 2 Coles.
That's that's actually the 83 of Smalden, who got in the back of Breitschkoff, it looks like, just stacking up from Forland, who was ahead there in the 3. I think that was kind of just a stack up as they're all kind of exiting the corner, seeing a car spin farther up. And I think Chris Lilly was also the one that was kind of, there's Breitschkoff getting kind of, you see the 3s just kind of stopped there, kind of gathering it back up. Ooh, the 5 got some damage. Owen Chybinski there.
Chybinski, the nose got deleted off of that car while everyone scrambles and tries to make sense of the first caution of the night here at the Auto Club Speedway. Lots of cars on pit road, about 24th on back. 10 cars, I count, on pit lane that time. There you see the points as they run right now, drop week included. Josh Chin making his presence known, but Movick up at the front holding a commanding lead, doing exactly what he needs to do to shore up this championship.
Yeah, and there is bonus points for leading laps, or leading a lap and then leading the most laps. So a great move by Movick to go out there and grab the lead early, get that first point. now you kind of wonder, like, do you play a little bit of defense here, try to hope that you can keep Chin and Kolonix from leading a lap, or at least leading the most laps. Just kind of pre-race unofficially. Muvik doesn't need to win tonight, even if one of his championship contenders or competitors wins. He can still finish second or third and still have the championship lead. But obviously, every point matters, just in case you can't get that every position on the final lap. So it'll be fun to see how that changes as these drivers lead laps. But the other side to it, we're going to talk probably about our front three. William Schmidt had an outside chance tonight. You saw how far back he is in fourth, even just being up here running sixth. But with a large wreck here starting this race, a handful of drivers wounded, he really needed to win tonight and hope that the other drivers had issues. Well, the other drivers, even if they have issues, maybe aren't going to have as bad of a night if you continue to have wrecks in the back. So shout out to William Schmidt to at least get to here and have a chance. But it is going to be a tough hill to climb with those front three battling it out here up in the top five.
Well, one thing I've learned from watching OSRL racing is that you can never count out that purple and white 79 car of William Schmidt. That is an ever-present danger here on track for the lead and for the points. So keep an eye on that 79 car. Might not be up at the front right now contending with Muvik, but you rest assured he will make his presence known here tonight as the field gets double filed up to get set to go green once again here. Braden Muvik has the field in his control as the pace car dives onto pit road for the second time tonight. As we await the green flag, into the restart zone they go, and out of a cannon goes Braden Muvik. He's going to open up a 2, 3, 4 car length gap on Josh Chin and Aiden Walker as they will go side by side. Muvik arcs that 42 car down into turn number 1 to get that good run off.
Yeah, that restarts so far. What we're seeing is, if you can be kind of the first one to go. Obviously, Chin had the opportunity to go first on the first initial start, but Muvik did a great job, even with the advantage this time. As you see farther back, there he went up the hill a little bit there. Just cars are kind of slip sliding, even though it's a nighttime race. A ton of grip out there. These cars are always going to have the ability to slide around with all power. Lower downforce as we got the battle for third with Walker and Carpenter. Carpenter down the bottom. Chin still running up at the top, trying to get that rolling in second.
Now that's an interesting strategy, but if anybody in this field can pull off that top lane early on, it is the 93 of Josh Chin, ripping the fences here early on at Auto Club. Typically, in my experience, Ross, what you want to do is start the run down there on the bottom, like where Muvik's at, and then as you get farther into the run, kind of migrate up to the wall there and use that momentum to maintain track position. It gets really hard to make passes on somebody who's ripping the boards late in the run on those old tires, but Josh Chin immediately going to the top side this time, trying to keep pace with the 42 of Muvik.
Yeah, you wonder how that's going to do on the long run here. The way this race plays out, it's we saw the incident early on, but with so many options with the different lanes here, you kind of feel like you're going to have a long green flag run at some point. And so far in this start, we're off to a good start. Farther back here, you see Freilich sliding around behind old Dimlick there. Here comes Knutson down on the inside. Lots of momentum changes as you use the bottom lane, then slide up, or then use the outside lane to get a run on the straightaway. It's just such a fun racetrack to watch them race at.
Yeah, the top 6 or 7 cars make it now. Maybe the top 10 cars now have kind of evened out. Meanwhile, farther back, Jack Painter was in a hornet's nest there, 4 wide as they come off the corner there. Did not get the good end of that one. He will slip back now to round about the 19th spot as Levi Wolf takes command there, and he will roll up into about the 13th spot. But a hornet's nest here early on in Auto Club. Now they get it about sorted out. Oh, still close racing down there as they flash across the line this time. 10 laps completed.
Josh Chin just hit the fastest lap that previous lap. This time just another 10th faster than Muvik. You see him close up here. Now going to look to the inside down the backstretch. So you've been running the top. now you kind of, to make this pass, you're going to have to go down to the bottom, really drive it in there, maybe even a little bit of a slide job here, and going to slide up and take the lead.
That is just a thing of beauty there to throw that slider down in turn number 3 and 4. Try and make it stick, but here comes Muvik on the crossover. He will still lead lap number 10 as they flash by our cameras here down into turn number 1. They'll be side by side. Josh Chin back on that top side that he's preferred since the start of the race. Does he have anything for him? He'll have the momentum down the back straightaway, but Muvik's going to clear. Will he go for another crossover down the back?
And, obviously had the practice the first time, last time. Let's see if he can keep the momentum up, I think, is the biggest thing that he didn't have the opportunity to do. It's going to be tough again there as you see him slide up, and Muvik's going to have the run now down the front stretch. Gonna just prolong this opportunity for Chin to lead that lap, and it's pretty interesting battle we got here. Obviously, whoever can get this lead and kind of take command of this race, it's going to be a huge opportunity. And having these two battle it out, you wonder if it falls into Aiden Walker having a chance to steal the win tonight, or Kolonix be able to get up there and battle these championship competitors.
Carpenter and Kolonix go side by side. She'll fire it off into turn number 3, slide up in front of that 20 Home Depot car. But now here comes Carpenter. God, I love this track so much, Ross. So fun to watch these cars slip slide around the big wide banks of the Auto Club Speedway.
It just seems so easy to be able to just drive it a little bit harder to pass somebody, and then even though the track's so wide, you almost need the whole track, especially in this car, to be able to keep the momentum up. You want to go, arc it all the way into the corner, and then make sure you use all the track exiting. And the minute you go to pass somebody, you can't use the whole track, and then kind of just slows you down a little bit. So you see those two battling. Then brought in Schmidt. Back here, you see Freilich battling with Knudsen, and then that kind of stacks up everybody behind him. Oh, Knudsen maybe got the wall a little bit, but yeah, it's just great battles and awesome back and forth throughout the field.
All that battling that Josh Chin and Braden Muvik have done has brought the 39 of Walker right to their back bumper. As big moment there for the 70 of Harry Grindell. He was all sorts of sideways off of turn number 2 there. Gets it gathered up, but not before losing 2 spots. He will drop back now into the 14th spot behind the 48 of Lilly.
Yeah, you wonder as you see this kind of group kind of got separated. Not that this is like a drafting track by any means, especially in this car. It's definitely not, but it's just there are some gaps in the running orders. We saw Freilich kind of leading this group. Freilich up 10 spots. You kind of wonder if just using up the tires to gain some track position early, and now kind of just hoping to keep that position. Chris Lilly here running up on the outside of Grindell, getting a little bit of momentum to drive away from that 70, and going to look at trying to catch up to Dreiling here in the 74.
Dirty air not as much of a factor in these cars as it is modern day NASCAR stock cars, like the B class car, the A class car. But it's still, you can still feel it when a car gets up in front of you and takes that air away. It gets a little bit tight there. And you can also feel it when a car gets right up on your bumper there, like Harry Grindell did on the 48 of Lilly as they go into the corner this time. As we look back up at your leaders here, is now Josh Chin starting to open up a little bit of a gap on our championship leader, Braden Muvik.
Yeah, and you wonder how, as you're going through this run here, and did Muvik feel like, okay, well, I don't necessarily need to win tonight. What's that balance like for as a driver? And I know, we've talked to Braden a ton this year, and with so many times that he's won. But you don't want to be the guy that has to go into this race and not battle for the win because you're looking at the big picture. But sometimes you do it, like it's second nature. You want to make sure you lock up the championship, but you just wonder if he's kind of feeling like, okay, well, I don't need to lead. It's going to be better for me to just make sure and let Josh Chin go here just to make sure that he can run longest. You'd hate to burn up your stuff and have to pit early, and a caution comes out, or there's all those factors. You wonder how much these drivers know about the math and the points, if they they're getting help or if they've just figured out, I'm gonna go get as many points as possible and just see where it falls. But it'll be fun to ask these drivers once they're done how that went for them, and if there's any math going through their heads as they're also trying to tackle this racetrack.
We have been glued to this battle back here for the 13th spot. Dreiling and Lilly have absolutely been throwing haymakers at each other into the turns and off of down the straightaways here, as now Isaac Johnson enters the fray now for that 14th spot. I have no words other than art for the Gen 4 at Auto Club Speedway. I'm so glad that they finished the season here. It's the correct thing to do. It almost makes you wonder if they should have just finished the season here in real life NASCAR. I mean, Homestead, Miami, great track, phenomenal facility, but Auto Club Speedway racing, especially in iRacing with these cars, is absolutely peak.
Yeah, you see I kind of just look over at the running order, and you see the fact that there's not a lot of people that are running the same position they started in. There's drivers that move forward, drivers that have moved backwards, and some that have done both, whether it was use up their stuff early and now falling back, or maybe started saving. I look at a guy, Joe Armstrong, started way back, did not qualify tonight, up 15 spots to 17th. You saw him kind of a little bit farther back of this picture. Freilich has moved up a ton of spots up to 8th, where guys like Baldimlik and Dreiling have been moving backwards a little bit, just based on how they've maybe used up their stuff a little bit. I think this is about halfway through a fuel run here. You had that caution in there too, but I think you're about halfway through before you make your pit stop. If we do get to green flag pit stops, it'll be fun to see if that's something we see tonight, as the 17 gonna look to the outside here, get a little close off exit of 4.
It's Nathan Kiani battling Joe Armstrong there on the outside, and 29 of Diego Roldan there on the inside. They'll go side by side into turn number 1. Slide up in front. You can see that air and that wiggle of that car just getting the air taken off of the nose of that, upsets it just a little bit and allows for that run down the back straightaway.
43 of Paul Mary here gets a little bit of a run. Gonna try to wonder where to go on Joe Armstrong here. Gonna look to the outside. Or sorry, that's the Diego Roldan 29. Armstrong a little bit farther ahead there. Just trying to get the momentum up. You talked about it. You want to maybe use that outside lane once you get a little bit farther into the run. It's a little bit easier to turn with some older tires. Got to run here, but the side-by-side battle in front, gonna have to kind of wait to see how this gets sorted out.
We've got a long race to go here, just creeping up on the quarter way through this race mark. As, whoa, Paul Mary goes around there off of the corner. Caution flag is out for the 43, who spins it down harmlessly onto the apron there. Yellow flag is out on lap number 23 here in the OSRL finale. And that's just a case, Ross, of just you're racing too hard, trying to get the power back down, and that car, with all of its horsepower, just loops on around on you, especially as these tires start to wear throughout the run. The rears start to go first, and you see that right there as the 43 just sends her on around as we get our second caution for the night.
I'm trying to maybe get to the outside of Armstrong there. I thought there was a chance that spin there was going to slide down on the apron and then not bring out the caution. Kind of be in a bad spot for Paul Mary to get back into this, but brought out the caution, and like we said, that's the quarter mark of this race. I think a lot of the drivers maybe were hoping to get as far as potentially a green flag pit stop, but I know that they're all going to want tires now that the cautions come out. I think we're going to see everyone come down pit road. More time, Paul Mary. I think you're just trying to gas it up here, trying to stay to the outside of the 22 and maybe just, cross the line just a little bit with the throttle, and around it went.
3 sets of tires in the pits for these drivers here tonight. most of them have that set that they started on, so they'll elect to come down and get that fresh rubber here, and it'll set them up for the remaining. What's going to come out to about 73 laps when we take the green flag here. But pit stops, everyone's coming on down. Come and get that fresh rubber, being led by our leader in the 93 of Josh Chin.
And it seems easy to do a pit stop under yellow, but it's very easy to make a mistake. So just make sure, sliding through your pit box, no speeding, and ultimately just execute this. This is going to be a huge part of tonight's race. If we get cautions as they fall on the pit stops, and we'll see as these drivers hit pit road here. We got one that's able to sneak out a little bit early there. I don't know if that was a strategy call, missed the pit road, or I think that was the 90 of Barrows.
And you saw there on that pit lane camera there, Josh Chin, you talked about it, Ross, slid through his box, and he's going to give up a spot now to Braden Movick. He will come off third off of pit lane. These cars, it is hard to get these cars woed up on pit road. I don't know what it is, whether it's the tire model or just how these cars brake, what they've got set up, but it is hard to get these Gen 4 stock cars roll to a stop in for service.
Oh, Perry in the grass here, exiting pit road. I don't know if that was a speeding penalty there for Mo, or lost some spots there, but yeah, you talked about sliding through the box. I think it's easy also. You've run 22 laps on a track that's very worn out, like old tires. You go to grab the brake, and if you practice before tonight, maybe you practice even a pit stop before this race, you're usually practicing on fresh tires, and you don't think about, I'm on old tires, it might slide, and sure enough it does. Barrows was able to come back down this time, so maybe just missed the pit box. Frank DeAngelis here has stayed out, pitted on lap 3, was going to lead this field now, so I don't know if strategy here, this will be very interesting spot to try to stay out. I think he's going to be pretty much in trouble. We'll see if, as long as he doesn't cause any issues here restarting up near the front.
Well, you want to save a set of tires for later on in the race. I mean, we're starting to have a trend of yellows in this race, Ross. I find that Auto Club races in any car can either go one of two ways. You will either have many, many, many yellows, or you will have one. And it's usually the first it's usually the first handful of pace laps before they take the green flag. So I don't hate the move by Frank DeAngelis, but we'll have to see how the cautions fall for the remainder of the race, as he is going to have a pack of snarling championship contenders back behind him. All 4 of our contenders coming into tonight right up his rear bumper, being led by Braden Movick there on the outside.
This is a huge spot for Chin and Collins. You got to be patient here. Make sure that the 69 is able to get rolling before you make that pass. DeAngelis is going to be the control car here, so it gets to go early, but obviously on old tires, so you just got to be careful of the stack up here.
No wheel spin for the 69. He is shot out of a cannon there, leaving Chin and Movick there to contend side by side for the second spot as they'll head off into turn number 1 with Kolonix and Schmidt hot on their heels. But here comes that 39 car. Aiden Walker looking low, trying to get something. But here's Josh Chin on the outside. Doesn't care anything. Oh, he's sideways down the back straightaway. Gets it gathered back up, but he's going to lose at least 2 spots as there is a gaggle of cars down the back for around about 7th spot on back. Restart shenanigans already in effect.
I was going to say, that was a product just trying to get to the outside of DeAngelis there. And so far, that 69 has done a really great job of staying up there. Obviously, that stack up really gave him a chance to at least stay up here in this top 5 through the first lap. You see farther back, that stack up kind of just been added to the rest of the pack. But yeah, Josh Chin was trying so hard to get to the outside, got a little loose off it too, and then that just gave Schmidt and Movick the opportunity to get the lead here, and they're going to battle side by side for it. And this is what William Schmidt's got to do: go up here and try to grab this lead and put the pressure on. Obviously, only opportunity he's going to have to win this championship is win tonight, and So he's going to have to try to get up here and lead a bunch of laps. That's another part of this that he's got to do to top the insurmountable mountain here.
There is no defense for that 79 car. It is only offense, and he is trying to take it to those leaders right now. As Movic gets away, he's going to open up a 2-car length lead over top of Schmidt and Shin, who looks like he's going to slide up just a little bit into that top side. Shin immediately going right back to the boards in this one. He'll have the run down the back straight away, and will probably have Schmidt cleared by the time they get into 3, maybe not, but Kalanick's there as caution flag is out once again there in the back. One car slow off the back of the pack. I can't quite see who that is, but we will re-rack and restack as cautions are starting to pile up here early on in the OSRL finale.
That's Diego Roldan. I saw kind of at the top of our screen there as we were watching the leaders kind of battle it out down the backstretch. Just kind of maybe got turned. I think someone to the left of Roldan. We'll see if if that was Roldan coming down on somebody or somebody got to the into the. Oh, let's see here.
Ooh, Nathan Kiani, you can already see him sideways off of the corner, just tags the right rear of Roldan, and around he goes trying to get it gathered up. Great job to keep it out of the fence there. No contact, no damage. But starting to notice a trend here, Ross, on lap number 30. We've already had 3 cautions.
And this will make not much of a change really for the strategy. Maybe at some point here, if you're anybody in the back half of the field, you might want to just grab some fuel just to make sure if you do get that green flag run, you can have some extra options and go a little bit farther. DeAngelis, we just saw Frank stay out to grab the lead on the older tires. He's going to come down now and get a set of tires. So I think he probably wished they'd run another 5 to 10 laps before he'd come get this set, but ultimately going to have just a little bit fresher tires now. He started in the back, so ultimately this is maybe just still a wash, but for the next little bit here, going to have at least a small advantage. A little fresher tires, but not much, just because we didn't run very far during that run before another caution.
But if we get a green flag run here, tires do matter when it gets down to the end of these runs, and DeAngelis will be one to watch if we can get a green flag run here on those fresher tires. See if he can race his way back through this field. But that will relinquish control now back to your top 4 in the race and top 4 in the championship, being led by Braden Movic once again, who has just got a knack for this place. It seems hasn't let his foot off the gas once since we took the green flag to start the race.
Yeah, I think so many of the drivers that we've seen have success this year, they've all been really great on the long run, especially, and I think that's just what this car tends to lean to. Obviously, just making sure that you can save your tires and be able to keep driving it as you go deep into a run. And of course, tonight we're thinking that that's possibly what we're going to see. But I think if you can be good on the short run to start and then let your strengths on the long run take over, if you're Movic or Chin or Kalanick, these drivers that have been so good this year at being good throughout the run and ultimately pulling away in the end. So that's why I think it's so important. They're all trying to battle for the lead, because I know if you do get a green flag run, you can kind of drive away at some point if you're able to grab that lead and have it on the back half of the run.
That's exactly right, Ross. When it seems like the advantage to having that lead, especially when you get late in the run and those tires wear out, and like I was saying, everybody kind of migrates towards the top because they're ripping the boards, trying to hold momentum. If you've got that top spot, it is hard to wrestle it away, or hard to have it torn away from you by somebody on older tires, unless they've been saving. And I'll tell you, the 93 of Josh Chin is one of those drivers who can save the tire and go up in there in a late run and try and fight for control of this race if Movic can eke out a lead once again when we get back to green. I've got my eye late green flag run. Look at that 93 car. He will have the pace.
Yeah, and I think, just to look at the difference between the kind of the championship 3 that we have tonight. Kalnix and Mubik maybe a little bit more aggressive on the early run, but still solid in the second half of the run. But yeah, I think Chin usually has been pretty good on the second half, but tonight been going after it here on these restarts. We'll see if he can battle back again with Mubik and try to grab this lead.
Starters got the green flag in hand. We are underway once again at Auto Club, and Mubik once again jumping out to a good start. He'll leave the second and third place cars with Schmidt and Chin, who almost made contact there into turn 1. They will be battling for the second place spot, but here comes Kalnix there on the outside trying to make it a 3-horse race. Not going to have the grip. They'll still be side by side off the 2.
And one driver we see now battling up into the top 5 is Cole Freilich. Started way back in 18th. So one of the drivers that's been slowly moving up throughout this field. But front 5 here kind of been a little bit of the same with Schmidt now up into 3rd. Kalnix has Walker and then a bunch of others just all close together. And, gotta be careful there. Freilich coming down, trying to get down to the bottom, is able to stay ahead of Barbagallo there.
Slide up the banking now. Barbagallo looks like he's gonna go to battle with the 22 of Joe Armstrong there, who started in the back up for 32nd. And Joe Armstrong's one of those drivers that you would expect. I mean, maybe not such a good qualifying effort, but Armstrong's always got the pace here in this series wherever we go to get up there. Look for that 22 to keep marching towards the front. Already cracked the top 10 and looking for more here as he goes to war with that 71 car of Dominic Barbagallo.
Chris Lilly with the momentum and the Lowe's car you see there, the 48, just getting to the outside of Dreiling there. Just see that 48 move up to the kind of the middle to top throughout the run, last longer run that we had, and here just kind of early in this run going to do the same thing.
Talking about the same thing, that's not what we see up at the front. Josh Chin has reclaimed the race lead, and he's now starting to pull a gap on the 42 of Braden Mubik. Taking the fight now to that 42 car. Don't look now, William Schmidt has entered the picture there. I said started in 8th, but I knew he would be up there eventually. It didn't take too long. Lap 36, William Schmidt has cracked into this podium position. His championship hopes are not done yet.
You talked about Josh Shin making the mistake on pit road, and spent the longest time on pit road of anyone in the top 12. It wasn't much longer, but it was enough to lose the lead, but able to get it back now. So that kind of erases that. It's a 3 wide there, where everybody was kind of trading paint on our screen there for a moment. Isaac Johnson there, I think, kind of got the worst of it back there. Yeah, this is an opportunity for Chin to now reset, put that pit stop behind you, grab this lead back, and take control. As these drivers farther back, you just see like you said, it's just so fun to watch and see all the different lanes that they use and how it all kind of comes together down the straightaways.
Absolute hornet's nest. Back here, entering turn number 1. Around about the 14th spot, Harry Grindell and the 74 of Dreiling now. They'll be side by side. Whoa, contact. Mo Perry gets put in the outside wall. He will drop like a rock there. That car is glued to the outside wall. Doesn't seem to be able to get it off. Are we going to get a caution, race control? He can't get that thing going. He's going to crawl to almost a stop here on the back straightaway. Now he gets it going. We stay green. A huge hit for Mo Perry's chances here tonight, as he will be stuck way back on turn number 3 while the field flashes by the line.
You don't know if that was just maybe Perry just wondering, like, I'm in trouble already. I'm just going to stay here to let everyone get by. And if it is, good for him to make that call. But, yeah, it just looked like he was stuck to the wall. And I don't know if that was on purpose or if the car wouldn't let him get off there. It looks like he's made it back. Actually still rolling. Did not make a pit stop. Half a lap behind the rest of the pack here.
See, now Kolonix has gotten by, or well, momentarily got by the 79 of William Schmidt, move her up into the third spot now. But Schmidt's not going away, fighting back now on that bottom side. Here's they will be side by side through turn number 1 and 2. Is he going to clear up in front? No. That 22 will have the momentum and reclaim the position here as they fire down the back straightaway.
And you see Dominic Barbagallo there. He's gotten up to 5th. Kind of closing in on this front 4. Kind of a new player in the battle for this top 5. And that 71, just with this side-by-side battle, really easy to kind of close up here and stay close. So now they kind of get the single file again as Kolonix have a third and holding off Schmidt for a little while. That 22 can reel in Movic now for second.
Barbagallo having a very good run tonight in that 71 car. Started 15th. Is being very respectful, very commendable to be respectful of the championship 4 and let them fight it out here. But just waiting in the wings in case something happens, he can snag an easy position or two and put his mark on this race. He's hanging out right at the tail end of these championship 4 here, as they fire off into turn number 1. 42 laps completed this time.
And you wonder where this championship battle, how that could potentially change a full field run in green flag pit stops. Because if you're one of these championship drivers, you maybe don't want to pit early and have to worry about losing your track position. You maybe run this as far as you can just to keep from that happening. Then does that open up a chance for a guy like Barbagallo or Walker to be able to do something totally different? Pit early, pit 15 laps before everybody and get away from the championship contenders and go grab the win. I think that could potentially happen tonight if you get that green flag pit stop and just doing something very different, because those championship drivers maybe have to play it a little bit more smart.
43 laps complete, or rather we're on lap number 43, and it really is starting to feel like a championship 4 and me night for Dominic Barbagallo, who's still waiting in the wings. There's Kolonix now completes the pass on William Schmidt and now tries to set sail and set her sights on the 42 of Braden Movic. Kolonix, we talked about at the top of the show, on a heater right now, winner of the last 2 races in OSRL Premier Series competition, needs to keep that momentum up and at bare minimum pass that 42 car and get at least 8 spots, if I'm not mistaken, Ross, coming in tonight at an 8-point gap to that championship leader.
Yeah, of course, extra points for winning the race, so that would be the other side of it. Going to put a ton of pressure on anyone that able to grab the win. Movic right now with Chin leading. Obviously, Movic's gotten a little bit of a cushion on Chin, so would have to maybe have some issues or finish back half of the top 10 if Chin wins to give Chin the title. But Kolonix, if she can get up there and lead some laps, hasn't led a lap yet either, so that's another point there. So kind of try to see if that 22 can get up there and lead for a while and get some points that way. But yeah, I think winning the race is going to be the biggest thing to put Movic on on stress, and wonder if what he has to do to finish it off.
So William Schmidt starting to drop back a little bit. Dominic Barbagallo has seen blood in the water as Schmidt fumbled that last time across the line. Now he comes back on the inside, but Barbagallo is starting to make his move and take the fight to these championship 4. He's still got a race to win, or a race to run rather. Doing his best up against these Goliaths of OSRL competition here. He looks to the inside of William Schmidt. What a great battle here for that 4th spot. Schmidt still trying to maintain contact with his championship competitors, as the 93 and 42 Ross are starting to eke away ever so slightly. They're starting to get smaller and smaller out that windshield.
Yeah, 0.2 faster than the rest of the top 7 there. That last lap, this time by.
Car around on the front straightaway. Kendall Carpenter is down, spun around off the nose of another car. Caution flag is out. As one of your OSRL mainstays, Kendall Carpenter, now gets it gathered and going again through the grass. And that'll bring us to our halfway mark in this race. Caution flag out once again here as we get you a replay here at Auto Club Speedway.
See if anyone else was kind of brought into this, obviously. Coming up, and then maybe just a little bit of a stack up there, and Carpenter slides down inside. Forlin was to the inside there, and I think Carpenter had a chance to maybe save it if the 3 wasn't there, but just kind of fell right in the lap of Forlin there, and not much to do. I think that 83 of Spalding got maybe a little loose, just kind of stacked everybody up, and Carpenter goes to the grass.
An unfortunate happening for Kendall Carpenter. Once a championship favorite in a different time in the OSRL Premier Series competition, as we ride on board this time as he gets spinning down into that grass. Didn't see a whole lot of damage, maybe some to the right front, but not a whole lot. It looked like Grindel might have taken the brunt of that, as now we've got a split decision here for pit stops, Ross. Your top 4 in the championship have come down, but the 39 of Aiden Walker, Nick Bedimlik, and Frank DeAngelis, they'll stay out on these older tires.
Yeah, you know, I kind of was just thinking, you know, the timing of that yellow, you know, it's kind of made it, you know, the first run, you talked about 3 sets of tires in the pits. If you break this up into, you know, a quarter, you know, into quarters and 25 laps a run on a set of tires, you should be able to change your 3 sets perfectly, lap 25, 50, and 75. And here, closing on lap 50, this is a perfect time to do that. But I still think that's a little scary. You want to be able to have an extra set. You know, I always have kind of thought like, man, I want to make sure I have an extra set for a late yellow, especially if you're one of these drivers that, you know, are going to need a bunch of points maybe if you're battling for this championship. So I knew this was going to be a unique spot to pit, and I think there was going to be some people that are going to try to save a set by staying out here, but none of our championship contenders have. So they all have come down and made the pit stop. See some just kind of looking at pit stop times. There's a mix of drivers that maybe even, I don't know, most of them come down and got 4 tires here. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see these handful of drivers that have stayed out here. We'll see if they stay out again before we go back to green. And now it's just a matter of, can Walker win this race by just doing a different strategy than our front runners? And then also our front runners that are battling for this championship, can they get through this moment here where they're going to have just a little bit of fresher tires than this front 4 that they're going to have to contend with?
Yep, so now that it's cycled back out, there's a group of 4 cars now that have elected to stay out, led by Aiden Walker, Nick Bedimlik, Frank DeAngelis, and the 29 car, Diego Roldan. Now this will pose a new challenge for our championship leaders and everybody else on those older tires. How do they navigate multiple cars? We saw Frank DeAngelis stay out that last time. He's now back up there in this group, as we previously mentioned. But now it gets a little harder, Ross, for these guys on newer tires. It's not so hard to get around 1 car on old tires. It's a whole different animal to get around 4 cars on old tires.
Yeah, and DeAngelis did a really great job on that first restart. Did an awesome job getting away, but was the control car. So I think Walker's going to do a great job here of being able to, you know, as long as you don't spin the tires, if you get rolling and get some speed going down into turn 1, I think you'll be okay. The other 3 are just going to have to kind of anticipate this and maybe go a little bit later, and that's where you're going to have some issues. So I think having just 1 up there was a little easier, because it was just the one that, and they had the slight advantage being in control. This time we have 4 of them up here, so about the same amount of laps, maybe a little less than what DeAngelis had that first run. So we'll see if they're able to stay up in this top 5 at least for a couple laps, and ultimately make sure our championship contenders get through this.
Aiden Walker gets the jump on DeAngelis, and Badimlik now he will have clean racetrack as they fire off into turn number 1. Everyone else will be side by side. Josh Chin already looking to the inside of Diego Roldan, and he gets a little loose and squirrely back into the clutches of William Schmidt. And Ashley Kolonix now on the top side. She breaks through for the first time tonight at leading this championship fight. Look at that run she gets down into turn number 1. Gonna get 3 cars in one go. Move that 22 car to the second spot. Slides up in front of the 69. They'll hold on to it, but here comes Roldan there. Man, this is good.
That was a heck of a power move, just not able to finish it off, and I thought that was going to be a huge moment in this race for Kolonix to be able to get up there and grab it. Still have the outside here, going to try to keep the momentum up. With Josh Chin kind of taking the lead of the championship drivers here as they battle it out. But Walker's been able to get away. Roldan did a great job, and Badimlik here all running top 3, and Chin and Schmidt going to try to close in on them and use those fresh tires. Now that you've gotten through this a little bit, you can kind of set these other 3 up.
Oh, there goes DeAngelis around. He will spin it down into the apron. We stay green for now. No caution is called. He will get it back, gathered back up and continue on. An unfortunate event for Frankie DeAngelis. I was really hoping he would have a better run this time and maintain position now, but Josh Chin and William Schmidt have now disposed of the 28 of Badimlik, and they will now set their sights on the remaining 2 cars on older tires, Aiden Walker and Diego Roldan.
Just ran his fastest lap of the race, so obviously on older tires, but once you get clean air and you have the moment of maybe having to get moving just because you know the fresh tires are behind you, you can hit a fast lap. But just got passed by Chin now into second. See farther back here it's like Johnson, Painter, Knudsen all battling here, trying to move forward. When you're all these fresh tires, you're hoping for the old tires to kind of cycle through here so you can gain a couple positions, but you're all staying up here while the fresh tires all battle it out.
Well, now here's what's interesting now. Braden Movick has slipped back to the 9th spot. If we can get our points up once again to see how that's affected the point structure here, is now Josh Chin looking for the lead. If he can get it there, look at that. Josh Chin moved himself into the points lead now. That is not what Movick needs to do. Make that a 3-point gap now to Braden Movick, who has got his hands full with the likes of Cole Freilich and Barbagallo. He's going to take him 3 wide now down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Movick saw that points gap. He said having none of it, trying to bring himself right back up into the championship fight.
And oh man, that's going to be tight there. 3 wide and maybe even 4. You wonder, obviously Movick, you're the points leader, and there's almost a little bit more pressure to be safe tonight and make sure that you don't get caught up in an incident. And this was a huge moment of this race, and able to get through that 3 wide battle. He's going to have a little bit of less momentum.
Really goes around off the nose of the 74. Caution flag is out. He'll spin harmlessly down to the inside of the racetrack. Yellow flag is out on lap number 56. Hard racing. Right there around about the 6th or 7th spot. Sends Cole Freilich in the 15. Down to the inside of the track. He will get it going. Caution flag is out. Once again, we will re-rack and restack for now the 5th time tonight.
It was running 8th. So Freilich was up there, back up into the top 10. One of the drivers with fresh tires there, so you knew they was going to maybe gain a couple more positions. Just kind of in the middle there, maybe a little loose with the 74 of Dreiling kind of. I don't know if he got there, moved the air a little bit, but then ultimately I think once he started sliding, they maybe did make contact. But a nice job by Freilich, just kind of lock it down, spin down to the inside, and not bring anybody with him.
Braden Movick got out of that hornet's nest right in the nick of time. He was smack dab in the middle of that, not 1 or 2 laps ago. Hard racing right there. As you can see, we ride on board with, I believe that's the 33 of Isaac Johnson, just narrowly missing the spinning car of Cole Freilich. Now pit lane is open. We got a couple takers now. The guys who did not come down and get tires that last time will come down and get fresh rubber, and that will cycle your championship 4 right back to the front, Ross.
Yeah, I like this now. You know, I said it before. Like, I didn't know if I would want to be one of the drivers to have to pit on lap 50. So by pitting here, you can kind of cut this race now closer to 40 to go. Maybe pit every 20 laps if you get another caution. I just like these guys' strategy. You're gonna lose a ton of track position now because not a majority of the track or other cars are pitting, so you're gonna be farther back, but you can go a little bit farther now and have a little bit fresher tires. If your green flag run happens now, these drivers are going to be the ones that could contend for the win. But yeah, I think that's the better play. And now, if they stay out, say on the next yellow, and some others pit, the other drivers are going to be a little bit more nervous of using their last set. Where these guys that just pitted now can go a little bit farther before they have to use that last set. It's just kind of really going to depend on where the yellows fall and as of now, for Walker and these drivers that just pitted, they're just on a little different strategy. And if the cautions fall right, they might sneak into a win here.
I think if the cautions don't fall at all, I think Aiden Walker's right in a prime spot. He's had speed, top 5, top 10 speed in this race, and he will have the fresh tires. Look for him to make his way back through this field in a hurry. I would not be surprised because these guys now have got a couple laps, and they were racing hard, Ross. Not like they were saving tire or anything. They were absolutely throwing haymakers at each other. No love lost between the top 4 in the championship. They know what's at stake. But Aiden Walker might just be in the catbird seat if we can get a green flag run here.
Yeah, one strategy I was thinking with Mavik is like being the points leader. Your goal is just to kind of maybe stay right behind whoever is the highest of the other competitors, and that was kind of tough there with Kolonix was able to kind of make the jump early on in that run there and try to get up there, but then had her mistake, and then Chin was able to get up there and grab the lead. So now kind of reset back to 4th here to kind of stay with these front 4 and still on the same strategy. So kind of dodge that first bullet of issues of staying farther a little bit back on that last restart.
Flashes of brilliance from the 22 of Ashley Kolonix. Will we see another jump here on this restart? Now it is clear track for your championship 4. This pace car leads this field into green as we're now in the back half of the final race of the OSRL Premier Series season. And the final race, it should be noted, of this Gen 4 car in OSRL series competition. They will be retiring this car and moving on to the COTs, which will add a whole new skill set into this series. But a group of great drivers. I think it'll be a fantastic series to watch. But for right now, we've got a championship to decide, and Josh Chin says he wants it. He'll open up a 2-car length lead as they head off into turn number 1 with Kolonix and Schmidt there side by side. Kolonix really trying to take the fight now. She's seen a chink in the armor there for Braden Lovick as he slipped back on that last restart. Still sitting back there in 4th, but blood in the water for this championship 4. They'll stay side by side heading into turn number 3.
Jumping up to the outside here, kind of the first time we've really seen that 42 go that high. I'm just gonna have a run here to try to close in on Kolonix and Schmidt. Gonna maybe look to the inside, decides better of it. Gonna fall in here. Oh, this is gonna get tight here. Thought Oates was gonna try to grab the outside there. Kolonix was on the inside. So 22 having some connection issues there. Gonna be a little nervous for both of them as they drive around each other, waiting to reconnect.
That's another car that we haven't really talked about tonight. The 73 of Jonathan Oates came into tonight 5th in points, effectively eliminated when Braden Lovick showed up tonight. But Oates not going away without a fight. He wants his presence known in the season finale. He's side by side with Ashley Kolonix across the line with Braden Movick in tow.
And Oates, I believe he had to miss a race this year too, and obviously there's drop races in there too, but it's just so hard to have know your drop race is going to be one that you miss. So kind of probably bittersweet to know that, like, man, if I would have been able to just start that race, maybe that put me close enough to battle with these championship 4 that we have here tonight. But ultimately going to at least go put on a show here and prove he was supposed to be here.
Kolonix up in the wall. She's going to go backwards and hurry down across the track. Caution flag is out. They all keep it straight. That could have been bad, really, really bad, Ross.
Yeah, fortunately for one of our championship threats, I think it's going to be pretty much night over for Kolonix. Yeah, it could have been worse for sure. I think, ultimately worried if she pulls it off the wall and tries to get off the wall, it was going to cause some issues. But Dimlick here is towing back to pit road, so maybe got the damage there on the front end. But that 22 is maybe going to be in trouble for the rest of this night.
She was just trying to maximize that run off of turn number 4, got up into the wall. You see Braden Movick almost did the same thing, almost gets run over by Barbagalo there, and then the connection issues, blinking the whole time. You have to wonder if that plays into effect. Man, that 71 was having such a good run tonight too. That damage will absolutely affect that car going forward. But yeah, Ross, you said it. A heartbreaking event for the driver of that 22 car, Ashley Kolonix.
Yeah, and I think that it just compounds the idea of the connection issue too. It's just because I think, getting into the wall there, you're probably, going to lose a ton of momentum and maybe still get run into, but it's just so hard for that 71 to be able to avoid a car that's, here you see it here. Like, you just don't know where they're going to go, especially when you can't see them for a moment. And that's not anything of anyone's fault. It's just a situation of a bad connection. And hopefully that's something that the 22 can fix. But unfortunately, it just the worst time, of course, battling for this championship and trying to grab hold of this lead and maybe even, take it from Movick tonight.
See, everyone now comes down pit road, likely for the final time. Ross, I don't have a beat on how long they can go on fuel, but you're the strategy guy. What's the play here?
This is an interesting spot because ultimately, if you're going to come down and grab a set here, if you've already pitted like a Movick, this would be your last set of tires. That's a long way to go, 36 laps. And really, the only driver now with Kolonix on pit road, you see her car back there getting damage fixed. Really, it's the competitor that Movick's going to have to watch for is Josh Chin. And right now, Josh Chin is staying on track in the lead. So it's going to be huge now for Movick. I think right now, if you're Movick, you're going to have the short-term advantage with fresh tires. You got to be careful of just getting through this mess. You're going to be able to move forward. But if a caution, if there's a caution later, then all of a sudden Josh Chin still has another set of tires that he can use. So it's really going to come down to Chin versus Movick, and now you have difference in strategies between the two.
As we take a look at our scoreboard, and you've got the points right there, Ashley Kolonix has gone a lap down, effectively ending her bid at a championship here in the OSRL Premier Series season. An unfortunate end to a great season for the driver of that 22 car, as they will re-rack and restack here. And this is exactly what Josh Chin wants. Him at the front and a lot of cars in between that 42 of Braden Movick.
Yeah, and I think if you're Movick here, you wonder if what this position will put in, put him in. You can't overthink this right now. Ultimately, you got to go 35 laps on this set of tires. You know that you're going to have fresher tires than Chin as long as another caution doesn't come out. I think right now you got to be very careful. Don't try to get they don't pay the points until the end. Don't try to get them all right now. Try to slowly make your way through the field here. Save some of your tire just in case you get a caution later and Chin comes in. But I think here you just got to slowly make your way. You're gonna be able to gain some positions here. The biggest thing will be just the pack of other drivers with fresh tires. You see, I think the leader of the fresh tires is William Schmidt. So Mavik kind of in the mix of these drivers, about 6th in line with fresh tires. So we've seen these drivers all battling with fresh tires. Kind of hard for them to catch up to the drivers with the old tires. So got to be patient here. And if you're Josh Chin, you're just going to want to hope you get another caution later, or at least maybe have, Mavik has issues.
A mixed bag here coming to the green this time. Pace cars on pit road. Josh Chin makes him wait all the way to the end of the restart. Waits till the green flag is out to stack up this field. Still gets a great launch down into turn number 1, but that's going to put Cole Freilich in the catbird seat there for the second spot. He will dive down to the second lane as they will fan out 5 wide behind him into turn number 2.
It's Cole Freilich, who was part of a caution not long ago, all the way back up to second now. It's just the difference in strategies here. So nice rebound for him to be able to jump up here up to second. Chris Lilly now the highest he's been tonight here in third. I see that's 3 of Borland, who also has been in, there's a handful of these drivers I'm looking through here. Smalden, all these drivers that were in issues of 43 who was spun around before. So nice rebound for some of these drivers as these fresh tires are getting there and making their move around them.
Never give up. You never surrender here on iRacing in general, but specifically in the OSRL Premier Series. This series has a habit of getting flipped on its head. And that is exactly what has transpired here late in the running in the season finale as Josh Chin has started to check out while we look back at this gaggle here for 5th place on back.
And it's just crazy as you try to use the fresh tires to move forward, but some of these drivers on the a little bit older tires, and there's not as much of a difference as some of the earlier runs we've had. Just a handful of laps on these tires, including a couple caution laps. So some of them are been able to maybe stay up here a little bit longer than before. Obviously, Chin, Freilich, and Lilly all kind of getting away. Walker kind of in the middle of that strategy, and then Schmidt now the first one with the fresh tires up to 5th. I think William Schmidt's got a great chance here to grab this lead here in another 10-15 laps if we stay green, just being the leader on those fresh tires.
I'll tell you, Ross, this battle, if we can get the points up once again, this whole championship might come down to who leads the most laps here tonight. Because both Chin and Mavik have led a number of laps. You can see it now as we've got a car spinning right in front of Mavik. Almost gets tagged. Caution flag is out once again. He's able to gather it back up. A scary moment there for your championship leader coming in tonight, Braden Mavik. We will re-rack and restack, but what a moment there. As I didn't quite see who was spinning down across the nose, but it was tight.
If Mavik wins this title, that's going to be his Kurt Busch moment. Like, look at this. This is a race ender there.
You're any slower back to the gas, and that car is right hooked into the outside wall, and it's Josh Chin's championship.
Well, yeah, 100%. Now, yeah, it's like even if you just the way that angle was, that like even a slight tap of that 42, and you'd be done because it's not something you'd be able to save. You'd be going right into the traffic to the right, back towards the wall. It just would have been a mess. So huge moment there for Mavik. Man, what a huge. That was so close and unbelievable. This is we said that's the fear of having to do this strategy of getting the tires now and falling back. As I think here it's just the 43 maybe closed up. Yep, just got on the 83. Nice job by Armstrong to get through that too, and everybody else kind of following suit there. But we all were watching Muvik kind of hold our breath there for a second to see if he'd get through that, and ultimately did. But man, it was close.
And now pit stops have made this even more interesting as Josh Chin has elected to come down and get fresh tires. Ross, is that likely his last set on the night?
Yeah, I would say that's where we're at now. If with these drivers coming down, they're grabbing their last set. A handful of drivers that are still on the track here: Walker, Smalden, Palmieri, DeAngelis. They all have one more set left, from my count. Now, some of these drivers maybe I'm looking a little bit. Some of these drivers maybe potentially on a pit stop maybe didn't take tires, but or maybe they took two. I don't know if that would be a good idea. I think most of the time they've been taking four, but that would be the only thing if maybe somebody has been able to save a set by still coming down and getting gas and then holding some track position or just maintaining as much as they can. But yeah, right now I think this is for our championship two that are battling out here now. It's just going to be a matter of Josh Chin's turn to be kind of mid pack and trying to move forward. Well, where I think for Muvik, you probably wanted that caution because now it kind of forced Chin to maybe use that last set early. There's not going to be much different. Obviously, Chin's going to have a little bit fresher tires than you, but now it's kind of back even. It would have been really bad if you're a Muvik if all of a sudden 10, 15 laps from now you get that caution and Chin pits and then, then all of a sudden Chin just drives up there and just drives away from you, and then you're kind of, at the mercy of hoping that you can save enough tire or make your tires last to save enough points to get the title. Now at least your tires aren't going to be too much different. You have the track position now. So meanwhile, I think Walker and Schmidt here, this battle here is going to be whoever can grab the lead here. I think Schmidt just a little bit fresher tires, not much different than Walker. And we'll see if that battle for the win here can be of interest here as Walker still has another set. Go use them later, but see how these drivers tackle this next restart here. 28 to go.
Yeah, this race has really kind of fallen into Aiden Walker's hands. We talked about, I believe it was Badimlik, who was hanging around, or no, sorry, Dominic Barbagallo earlier on in the race, who was hanging out right outside that top four, being respectful, letting them race, and just waiting in the wings. Now this race has unfolded more. These drivers who aren't in the championship fight can roll their sleeves up a little bit as they find themselves in Aiden Walker's place. I mean, he's right in front of him. He can go all out and go get this win without almost without fear of harming a championship run, but we will have to see as he has elected the outside lane. Very interesting. I don't think we've seen that here tonight. Pace car dives on the pit lane. What will Walker do? He goes right in the middle of the restart zone. Green flag is out as now Schmidt and Muvik will contend for that second spot. They'll be side by side down into turn number one.
And you wonder
with
now.
A spread out restart.
Yeah, kind of that late go in the restart zone kind of did that. We saw that last run before. 3 wide back farther here. Oates with a huge run. Pass 2 on the outside, and I go to the inside of Smalden.
Caution flag is out once again. We've got cars slow on the back. The 31 of Mo Perry. Once again, slow down the back straightaway. Caution flag is out. It looks like Kendall Carpenter is involved. Also, 2 orange cars having an issue, so we will re-rack, restack once again at 27 laps to go as we'll try and get you a replay. Cautions breed cautions, Ross.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately the other issue we had was just the timing of that caution around halfway. Then, had some difference in tires, and now we've have such a mix. I look through and I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, that driver pitted with a bunch of other drivers that took tires, but maybe they took fuel, and then this group, they stayed out, and 5 of them stayed out, but 2 of them stayed out the last yellow before that, so they're different than these guys. So just because of that, then you have a wide range of tire changes, and I think you see back here, and this is really just Carpenter kind of maybe just getting loose, coming up in front of the 71 there, I think, and went around, but that's just the nature of this, just because we've had multiple cautions. We've mixed up the running order. You got people running in the back that maybe haven't all night, and people from the back running up near the front, and then just all the different tire strategies going too.
Yeah, I think going back to that wreck, what that was, Kendall threw a mean slider on, I believe that was the 16 of Knutson there in that Speed Racer inspired car. And we talked about at the beginning of the show how these cars are really sensitive to air on the spoiler. And Carpenter slid up right in front of Knutson and got that, changed the air off the spoiler on that car, and around he went. So unfortunate for Mo Perry to get up involved in that, but not lost in this should be that Ashley Kolonix is now the first car lap down. You just saw her flash by the pace car that time. She will now get 1 lap back. She'll now only be 2 laps down, Ross. And if this keeps going the way that it does, I don't know the extent of the damage on that 22 car, but if she can get back on the lead lap, she's still got a shot.
Yeah, I think ultimately, if you can finish the race here, you never know. Muvek's moment, if he would have got caught up in that incident and got clipped there on that previous yellow, that could have potentially had him end his night. And then you have Josh Chin, who's now mid-pack. If he gets caught up, you just never know. I think if you're Kolonix, even if you have a ton of damage and don't have the pace to drive up there and take points, at least finishing the race, so that way if the other drivers can't score as much points, there's always a chance. So I think that's got to be the goal right now. Finish the race, maybe try to get those other 2 laps back. And right now, going to be the only driver on track that is any laps down. So if you get another caution or 2, could get back on the lead lap, and then who knows? We'll see what happens. But I kind of am wondering on Muvek here. We saw kind of whenever he got kind of middle of the top 10 or mid-pack, it did seem like that 42 was just a little bit weaker than a lot of the drivers around him. Some of these drivers like William Schmidt, Josh Chin, Aiden Walker have been able to drive up and kind of pass multiple cars. Kolonix, we saw when she was up there, she was able to drive up there with fresh tires. Muvek kind of mid-pack was kind of struggling. I think that this being up front now, probably a deep breath after the deep breath of avoiding that wreck. I think this is probably a good spot for him. Do you wonder how aggressive he could be to try to grab the lead? Because obviously when he did grab the lead early in this race, he was able to just kind of stay there. So I wonder if that's the goal here, to try to get this lead and keep it, or if he falls back, does he struggle kind of in traffic? That was something we kind of saw as we were kind of through the middle portions of the race.
That is a good point, and I think Muvek's definitely thinking about that. He's going to want to control this race as best he can. He's in prime position to do it, as Josh Chin is still mired back around about the 20th spot. 20 spots that Josh Chin has to make up to have a shot at this title. We see him way back in the middle of this snarling pack of drivers. Meanwhile, back at the front, pace car is off. Aiden Walker, the control car, gets a good jump, and he will leave second and third once again to contend for that second place spot. Down into turn number 1, they go with Harry Grindell in tow and fourth. So going to try and power around the outside here of William Schmidt, who just won't go away. He will clear Muvek now for that third spot, but here comes Muvek with the crossover down the back straightaway.
Yeah, had that run on the outside. I thought he was going to try to get to the outside of 79, wasn't able to do it. Muvek's going to stay now with that run down on the bottom. I think that's where Muvek wants to run. Most of the night he's been kind of middle to bottom of the racetrack. Schmidt keep the momentum up here though, and going to hold him off for now. So the front 3 kind of got away there on that restart. The battle for 4th with Oates and Grindell goes on. Muvek's still going to try to drive it in here. Kind of close up close in turn 1 and then turned it down to get the kind of straight shot off of 2 to pull even.
Oh, big moment there. The 27 car goes around, spins down to the apron. We stay green for now. Only 1 car involved. That was right in front of Josh Chin. Championship contenders are getting the scare of their lives tonight.
Wow, that car's that was Bailey Thompson that was sliding there on the incident, and Thompson trying to get back rolling there. You wonder if the caution. I saw Collins coming off of 2. She probably looks up like, "Come on, give me the yellow. I need another lap back." But that's yeah, gonna drop Bailey Thompson about halfway. Oh, there's the yellow
And we
now.
will get that caution now. I don't see a car stopped. We'll have to look back at race control and see what would have caused this yellow. We will re-rack, restack, and that is another lap that Ashley Collins gets back. She will receive the lucky dog once again. That's exactly what Josh Chin didn't want to see either. He wants to see this race go green so he can start picking off drivers and get back up there to Braden Movick. All this wasted laps under caution is just eating away at his chances to get up there and fight for the championship. Look at that, a 36-point gap now as they run, with Movick being up there in second.
Yeah, I think that ultimately was a admin caution for Thompson's spin, but just a little bit late. You know, I think that's the only thing there was made that call, and that's kind of, we're just at the mercy of whatever the officials feel needs to happen. So if that's the case, this is a caution here with 20 to go to reset again. I think a couple drivers here. I know Walker has another set of tires in the pits. Looking through, maybe Grindel still has one. I just think it's a little early for those drivers with that extra set. I think their goal is to use them with, 10 laps to go, 12 laps to go, but we'll see.
Handful of drivers come down, mostly in the back of the pack. Notably, Jack Painter leading the charge. He pits from the 13th spot, I believe. Aiden Walker continues to lead this field. This is also helping out his race win chances here. This is exactly what he wants to see. Just let those laps tick off and give his competitors in Schmidt and Movick there behind him less opportunity to go up and get this win. Wouldn't that be a great way to cap off the OSRL Premier Series season for Aiden Walker with a win here at the Auto Club Speedway?
Yeah, started our season with the perfect run at Daytona, winning the qualifying race and the 250, and now trying to bookend the two races to start and finish this season if he's able to grab the win. Yeah, it's just interesting to see if they want. He still has another set in the pits too, which is impressive to be able to play this out. Being able to pit kind of last, or really pit first of everybody on their last pit stop, and now still be up here with. Usually, if a driver has an extra set of tires, they're a driver that's more towards the middle or back of the pack, but contending here and really ran his fastest lap on that last restart too. So it just seems like maybe the tires, obviously they're important because the track is pretty worn racetrack, but ultimately some of these drivers on old tires, you get clean air, you can keep some track position.
Got him double filed back up here. Looks like Aiden Walker will choose the inside this time, keeping them on their toes with his lane choice on restarts. I'll tell you, one car who has fallen off of this, Harry Grindel, has now gone 2 laps down. That car is sitting on pit road. A little bit of a scare there for Ashley Collins and her efforts to get back on the lead lap, but she will leapfrog that car and still remain the only car 1 lap down. So if we get another caution, Ashley Collins is back in this race, at least on paper.
Yeah, and ultimately, Knudsen, when that went, for that slide, came down and worked on some damage. Mo Perry, we saw him had some issues with having some damage in a couple incidents. Barbara Gallo also spent a ton of time on this caution working on damage. So there was multiple drivers working on damage that I thought there was a chance one of them would go a lap down, and then that's a battle for Collins for this free pass. But now gonna restart here, be the only car one lap down, and everybody getting caught back up here. So just a matter of if another caution comes out, that 22 will be back in the lead lap. Maybe even able to steal some points, and who knows what happens with Muvik and Chin battling for this title.
To say if they can get racing up here, Josh Chin has made his way up to 11th now. Was in that 20th spot. We saw him wired way back in there. See if he can continue his march on forward. Green flag is back out. Aiden Walker will lead them once again down to the inside. 17 laps to go here in the OSRL Premier Series season finale. Side by side, second and third will go as the 69 of Frankie DeAngelis now. Spun down to the inside, twirling, spinning, still going down there. Hard contact into the inside wall. Caution flag will fly once again. Welcome back to the lead lap, Ashley Kolonix.
Well, that'll do it. Get you back on the lead lap at least, and now man, this is a moment for Josh Chin, because I know that this kind of stack up happened right in front of him.
If I'm Josh Chin, I am punching and crying and screaming. Why won't these guys stay green and give me the chance to get back up there as we see heavy contact to the rear of that DeAngelis car? Spinning all the way down to the inside wall. That's heavy contact to the left front of that car. Steering will undoubtedly have an issue for the remainder of the race.
I think if Jeff can show us a little bit farther ahead of there, I think there was a second spin in front of Josh Chin there, or even ride with Josh Chin. I think that you could see that there was a multiple stack ups there with that. DeAngelis gets spun there, and really it was because the stack up from getting bumped out of the way before that. Let's see here, I think it's rolled in here.
Just spinning, and then
rolled in off the bumper of Smalden there.
Move Josh Chin up to the 8th spot. They don't ask how. They ask how many, and Josh Chin has clawed back at least 12 spots to get his car back into championship contending position. We ride on board with I believe that's Diego Roldan. Roldan, rather. Now has his car on pit lane to repair damage at bare minimum. You can see the points as they run. Still a 29-point gap for Josh Chin. He needs something to happen to that 42 car of Braden Muvik. Chin's got the tires. He's got the tools to go get it done. Does Muvik make a slip at this point is what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I think that for Muvik here, ultimately you're kind of a huge fan of either Aiden Walker or William Schmidt, and I think you see Muvik kind of, and I doubt that this is something he's thinking about, but maybe he is thinking this deep, is if you battle with that second place driver and let the leader kind of get away, I think that ultimately that's someone leading laps, taking away the chance for Chin to lead the most laps, and then also there's a huge bump of 7 points from second to first if he gets up there. So I think that gap that Chin has, it does look pretty big right now, but if all of a sudden he goes and grabs a couple more positions here and gets back up to the lead, then it shrinks down enough that Muvik's going to need to stay up in that top 10. And who knows, we've seen Muvik kind of fall back when he gets in traffic. So a little bit of fresh tires a little farther back. There's such a mix of drivers right now with tires up in the top end, though Chin is the freshest tires. The other drivers that are close to Chin with tires, Armstrong and Freilich, are outside the top 10. Forlin back in 15th. So there are not a ton of drivers on the same strategy as Chin that Muvik would be, losing a ton of time. I think Chin at some point, if we get this going green, is probably going to be able to drive past Muvik. Just a matter of then, can Muvik keep the track position, and ultimately just if Chin can win the race and put the pressure on.
Josh Chin is only 2 rows behind Braden Muvik and starting on the outside, which I think in a when you get back in the pack there, having that outside lane can be a bit of an advantage because it sort of opens up or gives you more of a chance at having a clean exit off of 2 and getting a good run. Whereas somebody like Mavic or Isaac Johnson or the 74 Dylan Dreiling there down on the inside kind of get pigeonholed down there, and they're at the mercy of the car on the outside. Josh Chen plays his cards right. He can get up to Mavic fairly quickly. It's what he does with the remaining positions to get back up to the lead, because he effectively has to win at this point if Mavic doesn't fall outside of the top 7. Pace car dives onto pit lane, making that hard left-hand turn, leaving the field in the control of Aiden Walker. We are under green once again here. A good restart from Walker. As they scream off into turn number 1, the top 4 kind of isolated themselves here. Josh Chen, the highest car on the racetrack, trying to get up there, but the 83 goes up. Marcus Walden go up there to cover the spot. It's a poor run off. Josh Chen trying to take him 3 wide down here, trying to get everything he can to get up there to Mavic.
Dreiling kind of got loose, went across the nose of the 93. Chin gonna go middle and grab that spot. Remember, one of the the lead car on this strategy with the fresher tires, so if you get an opportunity to get no one in front of you, even if you're 3 wide, you can drive away, and he did that kind of by himself, leaving the 3 wide racing behind him. So to try to move up here and get up into that top 5, battling back here, Armstrong kind of pulling the slide job and then stack it up. They're going 4 wide as Freilich getting back in this all the way down to the bottom.
Huge move there for Armstrong to throw that slider in there. He slipped up. He'll give up as many positions as he gained here. Now as that pack is starting to drop off the tail end of Josh Chen, who really needs to get up to that pack of 5 up there in front of him. Braden Mavic only 2 cars in front. He can see that pink and black rear end of that 42 car. Can he get there with only 11 laps to go?
Just saw Mo Perry go for a spin. That's going to bring out the yellow. I think Kiani was to the inside. And Perry going into 1 just kind of had a big slide there.
Boy, Mo has just had himself a night, hasn't he? It feels like we've had all these cautions we've had. It feels like Mo, if he's not involved in them, he's right next to him. That 31 car getting taken for a ride tonight. And unfortunately not in a forward direction most of the time.
I was going to say, I think there were 3 wide, no 4 wide, maybe even 5 for a second. And I think this is just a mix-up of not knowing kind of how much room they had. It's a bad
Keanu's
spot.
trying to arc that corner there, get as much momentum as he can, and you compress that field. No matter how much you want to avoid it, those 4 cars all side by side, they're going to compress up towards that wall to try and arc the entry into these wide sweeping corners we've got here at the Auto Club Speedway. Unfortunately, that's 2 cars going for the same piece of real estate, and it ends up with Mo Perry backwards in the outside wall.
And such a bad spot to kind of get hooked there, because you don't have that whole straightaway to save it or the apron to save it. You're kind of just pointed back towards the wall and gonna get sent right into it. But yeah, tough night for Perry and getting caught up in a couple different incidents, but just part of it. Unfortunately, that's the worst part, is when it's the last race of the season and you kind of are like, man, this is not a fun way to end it, and have to wait a little while before you get to redeem yourself.
Couple cars on pit lane here just to receive service and get their get some repairs done to those cars. You see Harry Grindell flashing by. He gets the lucky dog. He will come back onto the lead lap. Let's check in with Ashley Kolonix. She has made her way up to Kolonix rather, has made her way up to the 24th spot. It ain't over yet, Ross, especially if we keep getting these yellows.
Yeah, just gotta really hope. You never know what happens with Mavic and Chin. You hate to be that person, like be the one hoping for issues, but if it does happen, it's just part of racing. And yeah, if you can finish this race, you never know what happens with Mavic and Chin as they've closed up now, about as close as they've been the second half of this race. Going to be lined up nose to tail on this next restart. And I think, like I said, even though we continue to have cautions and not kind of get rolling, I still think at some point here, Chin is going to pass Mavic. I don't think any games will be played or anything like that, but that will be a big moment. And whether you know, it's close racing, or if Chin gets away, then does that, you know, if you're Mavic, you gotta stay calm and cool, knowing that you have the points lead, and just not let that 93 and multiple other drivers pass you and lose a bunch of points here. But I think what this has done for Mavic, and we talked about it, he's the biggest fan of Aiden Walker and William Schmidt, who we're both going to battle for this win here, and we'll see if, you know, Oates or Isaac Johnson or Chin are able to get up there and battle for it as well. But these drivers trying to get up here and lead this race, I think these multiple cautions, ultimately their tires are pretty much, you know, starting to reset to be just as good as everybody else's. So though I think Chin's still got the freshest tires, it's not going to be a huge advantage just because we haven't gone enough for any of these drivers to really wear out their tires. Another guy to look at is Freilich, who is on the same strategy as Chin. Nice job making those moves kind of on that last restart to get up there, and he's going to have a chance here to steal a top 5 and maybe even contend for this win if something crazy happens.
Yeah, Freilich, another driver in the Premier Series, always got a good beat on how to make speed in this Gen 4 car. Be interesting to see when they graduate to or not graduate, but move on to the COT next season, how he handles that transition to a more boxy car. In my opinion, they're a little bit harder to handle, but that might just be my unfamiliarity with the car. But meanwhile, we've still got a championship to decide. Pace car is down. Aiden Walker is away. The green flag is out once again. And you talked about it. Braden Mavic and Josh Chin, nose to tail. They're on the top side going into turn number 1.
Walker's had plenty of practice being able to restart this race in the lead, and we've seen it multiple times tonight where that leader is able to kind of get away, let second and third kind of battle it out. That's going to get kind of decided with Schmidt clearing Oates, Mavic to 4th. Try to get back down to the bottom here. That's where Mavic's been. Freilich's going to be the kind of the guy to mix it up with Chin here and stack up that battle as side by side now for 3rd and 4th.
Yep, Freilich was looking to capitalize on that side-by-side battle between Isaac Johnson and Josh Chin. Thought better of it, backed out. Now look at it. Josh Chin on the attack right up to the quarter panel of Braden Mavic, then dives down to try and get the run through the middle of the corner while Braden Mavic rips the fence. They're going to be right next to each other with not a lot of difference in momentum down the back straightaway.
I think Isaac Johnson could have maybe even forced the issue there to make it 3 wide, but kind of slowed up a little bit to let these championship 2 battle it out side by side. Now Oates is there. That's going to make it close to 3 wide. I think Mavic maybe just giving Oates the break there, going to fall in line behind. You can tell, like, Chin, though he had the fresher tires, I just feel like the yellows kind of have recycled them enough that it's definitely fresher tires. He's been able to pull away a little bit here, but it's just not as significant as maybe early on in this run. Going to be 3 wide now for Mavic up on the top. Chin's going to clear him.
And Chin the bus right in front of his nose. That's going to let Freilich get alongside of Braden Mavic there, and he'll dive it down onto the inside of Josh Chin. Freilich trying to go forward here with 4 laps to go when they get back to the line. Josh Chin trying to put every car that he can, as we've got a caution once again. The 27 is around once again. That's Bailey Thompson. Slow on the front straightaway. We are going to have a green-white checkered to decide this championship, Ross.
This is another kind of, let's mix in another contender here. We're going to talk about it. Actually, let's look at the replay here, see what happened first before we kind of reset the running order and see. Yeah, the 27 just, oh, that's a tough spot. Got a little bit loose and tried to catch it and overcorrected. Ton of damage there for Thompson.
You are not driving away from that one. Hard impact to the outside wall for that 27 car. He will try and limp this thing around and drive it back to pit road. Follow procedure. The guy who's loving this is Aiden Walker. As we now take a look at the points. Chin has cleared Movick, but it's still a 15-point gap to try and make up. Chin has to get up there and win this race and maximize his points to even have a shot still.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously if, running fourth right now, if you make the pass for third and second, now you're down 13, another 7 for grabbing the lead. Now you're 6 or 7 points away from Movick falling back out if he loses those positions. So now you have Freilich was able to get by Movick with the fresher tires, but I'm going to talk about a little farther back in 8th, pitted on lap 81, the freshest tires of anybody up here is Chris Lilly. And if you would have saw kind of in the back there, I was watching, he was moving all the way up to 8th, ran his fastest lap right before that caution came up. He's going to be right behind Movick on the freshest tires of anybody up there. Jack Painter in 11th also has fresh tires. So there is some fresh tires now that just got tires. So they are, it's going to be crazy.
Perfect storm kind of brewing behind Braden Movick there. If he lets his foot off the neck of this field anymore, it can go sideways in a hurry. If Josh Chin can get a good jump on this restart, he's going to have 2 laps to get up there and get this win. Does Movick have 2 laps of defense to try and keep everybody at bay and maintain his grip on this championship here as we dwindle late into the night here in the OSRL season finale? Kalanick still on pit road repairing damage. She's on the lead lap, but a valiant effort. I don't think it's going to happen here tonight for the driver of that 22 car.
Walker going to take the outside here, and I think it's an interesting spot. It's going to put Chin right behind you, and I think that, just so far Walker's done a great job on the restarts. I'm not discrediting the opportunity that William Schmidt has, but it just seems like I think if Schmidt was going to have an opportunity to beat Walker, it was going to need to be after we get rolling a couple laps. Just seems like Walker's been able to nail the restarts. Maybe Schmidt can prove me wrong here, but it just makes me wonder if you're Walker, you might give Chin an opportunity to get to the outside here of Schmidt and maybe just a little fresher tires make a run at you. And obviously he's desperate to get to that lead because that would be a huge bump in the points to put pressure on Movick. But Movick right behind Chin, he's got to be at least happy to watch him. I think just try to stay with the bumper of that 93 as close as you can. And if you do start losing positions, do your best to try not to lose a bunch. But only 2 laps. We'll see what Lilly can do back in 8th. I told you see him up on that outside in that 48 Lowe's car. I think he's going to have something with the freshest tires up there.
2 laps to decide it, and if we can get the points as they run up on screen, you'll be able to see it all the way to the checkered flag to see who takes this championship here. Pace car dives onto pit lane for what might possibly be the final time as Aiden Walker has the field in his control. He will get a good jump once again as Josh Chin is sitting there defending from the 42 of Braden Movick. Does he have anything left to try and go get this win and maximize his points? Movick right in his tire tracks as they go off into 1.
Good job by Schmidt to be able to stay at least close enough to Walker. Going to clear for second.
Oh,
there's
they're
a
spinning.
stack
Heavy
up.
contact. 2 cars spinning down the inside. That's the 5 car of Owen Drabinski and Diego Roldan. We stay green again. They're going to make it back to the white flag, Ross. It looks like Aiden Walker's race to win. Josh Chin's moved his way up into 3rd. You look at the points, it's still 17. Movick has matched him step for step as he's come up through this field. White flag in the air this time.
Muffik with a great job off of 4 to have the momentum to get by Oates. That kind of stacked him up. He fell back to the clutches of the 22 and the 15. I think that was a great moment for Muffik to grab that and kind of stack up everybody behind him so he could stay up here in 4th. Chin gonna get the outside of Schmidt and get to 2nd. I don't know if he's got anything to get to Walker.
Aiden Walker stretching out that lead. He's got a 4-car length lead there over Josh Chin, who's busy defending from William Schmidt. Give the championship race, or give the final race, rather, to Aiden Walker, and give the championship to Braden Muffik, the driver of that 42 car. What a race, Ross.
Got some drivers sliding around. I think the Kiani in the 17 had an issue there. Nathan Barrows. There's a handful of drivers run into it. You know, unofficial points, but yeah, obviously Muffik was able to grab it in the end. Nice congratulatory bump from Josh Chin. Fireworks going off here in California.
Braden Muffik did exactly what he needed to do to secure this championship. The one threat that he had left in Josh Chin, he matched him stride for stride all the way to the line and kept that leash on him to maintain his grip on this championship. He will come across the line to join Aiden Walker in celebratory burnouts here on the front stretch of Auto Club Speedway to cap off a phenomenal season of the OSRL Premier Series season. Great way to cap off this Gen 4's car's time in the limelight of this series. It's produced great racing, many, many seasons. Sad to see it go, but time for the league to evolve and move on to the COT. But for right now, Braden Muffik's going to burn the rear tires off of that Gen 4 42 McDonald's car.
I'm gonna shout out that paint scheme. He probably will talk to it when we get to talk about it when we chat with him. I think he's got some help with some awesome schemes, a lot of great looks, but this kind of neon McDonald's look, kind of his go-to. So super cool to see him win the title in it, and nice looking ride, and celebrating here with Aiden Walker, who last pitted on lap 58. Everybody else came down and got tires at some point after that, and he was able to get to the lead, and then ultimately, I think with those cautions, just kind of, prolong that set of tires to make it to the end. So great job by Walker to grab the victory after starting this season with the victory at Daytona.
There's no replacement for track position in racing. You can have the best tires in the field, but it doesn't matter if you're not the leader there when the checkered flag falls. And Aiden Walker did exactly that. Let's bring him up into the booth. Aiden Walker, your race winner. It's Brill and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yep.
Well, congratulations, man, on a phenomenal win here at the Auto Club Speedway. Ross just mentioned it. You had some of the oldest tires in the field. How did you manage to keep it up there in front of all these drivers here tonight and get the win?
Really just getting the strategy for first time probably ever correct. So getting that correct was one of the big deals, because I was like, it was kind of early, with about mid race, to have the caution for when we were going to take our second out of 3 tires. So I just decided to stay out and see how bad it was, which it wasn't bad. I was able to hold on for a good bit after that run, and then got my tires, and then just stayed out from there on, and pretty much just controlled the restarts as much as I could. The last restart was a bit more tough, since I was kind of having to start on the outside to help Braden a little bit. But yeah, it was kind of stressful at the end, but pretty happy about it.
Take us through your mentality for tonight, because obviously going into this, there's 4 drivers with a chance at the title. How do you race around them? What was your mentality for racing around them? And then the way this race progressed, it deposited you, or you positioned yourself up in front of all of them and gave you the green and clear to go out and race for this win. How did you handle balancing being respectful to the championship racers, but also going out and getting this win for yourself?
Uh, really just trying to, leave a little bit of room because, it seems like like you could really easily take air off someone, so just leaving a bit of room between certain people. Yeah, also, yeah, there's like a little bit more for my teammate Braden that I left, but it was just really about trying to put myself in position for the end of this race, which I felt like I did pretty good at. I wouldn't say it was horribly bad to control the race. It was more just if you're stuck third or fourth, maybe even fifth, you really struggle to get ahead of anyone with how I wouldn't say dirty air, but just how the car acts in dirty air. So getting through that was one of the big deals through like the first few runs, and getting control of the race was something that was very big.
Well, we talked about it. This being the last race for the Gen 4 car here in Premier Series competition.
Thank you. Sorry.
Well, we know how he feels. All right. I love it. So that kind of answers my next question. How do you feel about the series evolving and moving up to the, I believe it's the COT that we'll be racing next season?
I don't know. I'm probably going to be running a different league. It's been a fun time this season, though. Not as much fun with this Gen 4 car because it just handles so weird. Like, there's a lot of pretty bad performances at the end of the season, which was just part of me just like, I don't really have much of a shot at the championship, but I feel like if I actually didn't miss the 3 races I did, I think I would have won the championship actually. So it's just kind of a what if, but I still had a lot of fun this season racing around people I haven't raced in a good bit. So we'll see if I show up next season. It really just matters on what happens. So I gotta thank everyone that's done broadcasting. You guys, Noah, High Velocity, also Jack for hosting, just all the admins. I think, and I guess my teammates Braden Movick and William Schmidt, they both helped us. And Cooper Glick, he's getting $1 the 25. Gotta thank my teammates about that. We got the team championship by just a small margin, but yeah, I'm just really happy about how the season went, besides just missing a few races.
Well, we're glad that you could cap it off with a win here at Auto Club. I'd ask you for thank yous and shout outs, but you've already taken care of it. So you beat me to the punch there. Congratulations once again on your win, buddy. Go enjoy it. And thanks for so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Aiden Walker will check in now with William Schmidt, who you had to win tonight, ultimately to put the pressure on those championship championship contenders, but you had some chances there, obviously battling with Walker towards the end there, come home in third. Kind of talk about that last run. What did you need to maybe get Walker and have a chance at the win?
I just needed to get to his left rear and pack some air on him, and I thought I was going to be able to do it on the final restart, but I don't know, old tires, it just wasn't gripping right. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was a pretty rough season from start to finish, but to even be within title contention was cool. I mean, I think like the first 3 races I'd have finished no better than 15th. It was a rough season, but yeah, I mean, I was hoping I could at least get 1 win on the season. For some reason, I seem to only be able to win at Vegas, and that wasn't on the schedule this season. So I knew I had my work cut out for me. And Auto Club's close to Vegas. It was my home track for a while before it blew up. But yeah, overall rough season, and yeah, I feel like this race could have been a lot better towards the end. I feel like a lot of people were putting themselves in situations where they just didn't need to be. I mean, I feel like a lot of the wrecks were kind of 10th on back and that kind of cluster, so I don't know what was really going on there, but I hope we were able to get a run in there, and we didn't. But third's not bad to end the season off.
Well, we give you this chance since came home third, and ultimately, like you said, eligible for the title going in. Kind of a lot of things to happen, but at least put the effort forward. So We're giving you this chance to chat with us and also, do any thank yous and shout outs to cap off the season and thank anyone that you want to.
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank everybody at SKS Motorsports. We won something this season. We won the team championship, so that's nice. But yeah, so huge thank you to everybody over there for getting us the team championship. Obviously, big thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to everybody for putting this league on, and yeah, big thanks to the the Gen 4 for being around for as long as it was before we're taking it out back after tonight. But yeah, it was a fun season. So big thanks to everybody involved, and hopefully we'll have a good next season.
Well, thanks for talking with us, William.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys.
That was William Schmidt, our fourth place finisher in the standings. And now we'll bring up our third place finisher in the points, Ashley Kolonix. Ashley, it's Brill and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy?
Hello.
Well, unfortunately, the championship wasn't in the cards tonight after a white-hot last two races. Take us through that incident that ultimately took you out of contention. It was a heart-wrenching thing to watch, getting put up on the outside wall. What did you see, and what was the mentality after that?
I was struggling on pace tonight. I couldn't figure out how to drive it. It was different to the last couple weeks, and honestly kind of went back to how we were driving in Atlanta earlier this year, but at night. And that was another race where I just really struggled to get a hold of the car, and me trying to do something different. I washed up, got into the outside wall, and yeah, there ends that. But well, it was a good season. I probably wrecked myself out of where I should have finished on pace a lot of times. So the fact I was even in the fight going into this race was a testament to my comeback. But hey, fair enough. It was a fun season. I know people are happy to have the car go, but I had a great time.
Well, I want to give you personally a shout out for the resiliency after getting involved in an incident like that effectively ends your championship hopes. You stay in the car, you go down 3 laps, and through a slew of cautions that we got the pleasure of calling, you managed to fight your way back up to the lead lap. I want to give a huge commendation for sticking with it, getting back in the lead lap, and at least being there for that. So thank you for having that resiliency and still going after it after all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was I was kind of just doing math while I was in the pit lane of like, okay, do I still have a chance at a position here? And I realized with Schmitty, he was far enough behind me going into the race that if I just got a bit lucky and kept myself in the race, I could still finish ahead of him. And thankfully, a lot of cars wrecked on the last lap and giving me pretty much 10 spots on the last lap. So that was enough. 9 points ahead of him.
A great effort to keep soldiering on, and I can't commend you enough for that. You don't see that a lot in iRacing, and so it's a great thing to see. One more thing before I let you go here. How do you feel? Obviously, you were talking about the transition between the Gen 4 and the COT, which we go to next season. What's in the cards for you? Will you be joining us next season? And if so, how do you feel about changing cars?
Okay, to clarify on that, we're probably not actually going to the COT. That's for an off-season, like, fun series. We're looking at the 87 cars and the B car. If it's the 87s, I'm expecting to probably be in the championship fight again, minus road courses, which is definitely my weakness with that manual transmission. And the B car, I am pretty good, but I have no idea where I would actually stack up relative to the field on that.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to all of our viewers out there and to the league for calling that wrong the entire race. But we look forward to next season and look forward to seeing you up there contending for the title once again. And lastly, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run throughout the season and tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I spent about half the season beating myself up about everything, and I had a lot of my friends and people I've been with that, encouraged me back up and got me to realize, hey, you know, I can actually drive pretty good. I just got to keep a steady head. And I had it for the most part, especially second half of the year with the 3 wins. A lot of it actually genuine, like getting a hold of it and keeping a steady head. Obviously, tonight I was a bit frustrated, but hey, that's because pressure was on the line. So thank you to all of them. And yeah, thank you to all their paint brands, you know, Peri Peri Paint, Slipstream, Madeline's Painting. I forget what she calls her, my bad. They all had cars for me this season between ARCA and my other series that I run. So I appreciate them.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us. Congratulations on a heck of a championship effort, and we look forward to seeing you more in OSRL Premier Series competition.
Yep, appreciate you putting on a bit of a broadcast here. It's nice to watch them back.
Of course, we do our best now. Go enjoy your. I would say enjoy your finish, but I don't know. I hope you enjoy the off season.
All right, thank you. You have a nice night, fellas.
Grab Josh Chin up next, who comes home in second tonight, not only in the race but also in the title fight. Josh, you got a copy?
I do.
Yeah, bringing it home in second. I was gonna kind of talk about obviously the first half of the race, kind of just all of you front runners kind of running on the same kind of schedule with tires. Then mid race, we had that kind of weird caution that kind of set up a couple outliers, and then ultimately a bunch of cautions the second half of the race that kind of mixed it up. What was the decision making process there for you, and what were you kind of hoping? It looked like you decided to stay out and maybe save that last set to come get it later, and ultimately just come up a little bit short, getting back up to the lead. What was kind of your thoughts, and what were you hoping that last run, you know, through the second half of the race would go for you to help that strategy work out?
Yeah, when all those guys pitted with like 40 to go, I was worried about getting caught out by a caution with like 20 to go or something like that after a long run. So I was like, well, I'll do something different here. I need to make up a lot of points on Braden, so I need to offset spots by a lot. And it probably could have worked out pretty decently pitting around 30 to go, but we had too many yellows and the tires started equalizing, and never really got the shot to pull through there and have the tire advantage work out. But for how the season, the midway point kind of was going, it's I can't complain with it.
Yeah, your season this year really consistent. Obviously, able to still grab a win, kind of early on in the season, but ultimately just staying as close as you could to Mavic. What's it like racing with a handful of drivers, kind of counting points, trying to be consistent week in, week out? What's that pressure like? Are you doing math? I was kind of wondering that. Are you doing math in these races and kind of always thinking about what you need to do to maximize points on your competitors?
No, it's just trying to maximize finish. Tonight it was kind of obvious what the situation was. I needed to win. He needed to finish ninth, so it was kind of easy to figure it out from there. But otherwise, the end of like those last 5-6 races, it was just trying to get as many points as I could.
Well, since you had the opportunity to get to the podium tonight and chat with us, we want to give you this opportunity, the final race of the year, to shout out anyone you want and send out any thank yous before we let you go.
Yeah, just big shout out to everyone that puts on the league, everyone that runs. There's been a lot of participation this year, even with the car being a little suboptimal with the aero. And hopefully we'll move on to something a little bit better and a little bit better to race with. But it was a fun season. I wish I had more wins, but I guess everyone does. But overall, it was a fun season. Thanks to everyone that put it on. You guys for the broadcast. Thoughts of the Kyle Busch family still, and donate to Bundle of Joy if you can. And just hopefully everyone has a good off season. We show back up with whatever car we're racing Daytona, and we have a good Speedway 200, 250. I don't know what the race distance is anymore.
Well, we look forward to see you down the road, and good luck in the next season, and thanks for putting on a show tonight and throughout this season.
Thank you guys.
And last but certainly not least, let's bring in our championship winner for the season, Braden Movick. Braden, take us through. First of all, going into tonight, I want to know your mentality. Were you on offense? You came in with a 7 point, I believe 7 or 8 point gap over second place. What was the mentality going into tonight? Offense or defense?
Definitely offense. This is one of my best tracks, and I knew I did the setup test a couple of days ago, and it drove just how I like a car to drive. It just gets a little bit loose over the course of a run. You have to play with the throttle a little bit. It's my favorite type of setup, and I think the first 50 laps really showed that. Starting on second, starting in second place is like my favorite thing to do because if we go on green for the initial start, and I like being on the top for that, so I can just carry momentum. And yeah, I led the first 11 laps of the race. I was gonna fight Josh a little bit to like. I was fighting Josh pretty hard the first couple of like restarts and stuff like that to try to get the most laps led point. But then I was like, I actually like I don't really care if Josh leads the most laps. He's not the person I really am fighting for this championship. So I was just more focused on Ashley and stuff like that. And those first couple of runs, those first couple of longer runs, it was working out just how I wanted to. Like I'd let Josh go, kind of just sit there, ride for about 10 laps. And then I would slowly start to inch in on him. And yeah, I just really wish it went green the whole way. Because I feel like I could have won by at least 10 seconds if that happened. But no, every time I'd get like a little bit of a run, caution would come out, stack us up, and it'd just be like just kind of that for the first half of the race. And then once we got to lap 50, everyone in the field started to turn their brains off, um, which was not good for my blood pressure. I can't lie. I'm sitting there just like knowing that any one of these restarts could be the last one. So you have to be on offense every restart to keep track position. But yeah, it was a mental struggle today in the last half of this race because every restart I'd be staying in the same spot, top four, or whatever, and then I just see Josh creeping up like every 5 spots. I wasn't really worried about him winning the race. Like that never once crossed my mind because I knew I just had to finish in the 8th spot to win the championship. After Ashley had her problems, and yeah, there were a couple of restarts where I was getting really pissed off at some people the way they were driving, especially me. Like a couple of restarts before that end, like I would just be running top to give myself as much space as possible so no one would be on my left rear, just lifting my retards off the ground. And multiple times I had multiple people just follow me into the corner, put their nose right up my bumper, get me wrecking loose. And after like the 5th restart of happening to me, I was just over at that point. I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna race any of you with respect for the last 10 laps of this race. I don't care that I'm racing for a championship. I will put you in a bad spot because I was being put in bad spots every single chance anyone got, which was I thought was absolutely ridiculous. But happy it worked out at the end. Once Josh got in front of me, I knew the only thing I really had to do is just finish within 6 spots of him, and I'd be all good for the championship. And that's exactly what happened. Got a good restart on the final one, and yeah, kept my positions, put my car in a good spot to not be at risk of a wreck. And thank God that one's over because that was not fun for the last half of the race.
Well, it was certainly one of the races to watch and call up here. I'll tell you that. You look like you handled it great up there. With the strategy, you got mired back a little bit when the strategy flip flopped, and then found your way back up front, and from there it was all yours. So congratulations once again on that. The whole season as a whole, 4 wins on the season, more than I think it's like 10 top tens, maybe even more than that. How do you feel about this car? I mean, in the time that Split Second Broadcasting has been here showing showing the racing here, we've only seen the Gen 4 car. How do you feel about that and the sunsetting of that and moving on to a different car, be it the 87 or the B car, whatever you guys decide? What's your mentality going forward for that?
Uh, I mean, this was my last full time season because I'm entering my last year of college, and my schedule is just going to be outrageous with classes, work, and internship and stuff like that. So I was already planning on going part time. but I will enjoy myself a lot more if it is the 87. So I kind of hope it's that. But I don't know. I had a lot of mixed feelings about this car. I liked how you could do a bunch of like wonky things with it and get it to go fast, like my line at Richmond. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys were broadcasting that one, but I was running the Austin Dillon line, but like on crack, I would be running 3 lanes off the wall in the front stretch and save my tires perfectly. I like being able to do weird stuff like that with this car. I like this car at like wonky racetracks as well, like Pocono, Indianapolis. Um, but yeah, like this car was really fun to drive on its own with a good setup. However, like just like the aero problems towards the end of the season and people just not having any respect whatsoever with their racecraft and where they put their car, where they put their competitors was very annoying towards the end. But it's less egregious in the 87s. So I really hope when I do make part-time starts next season, it is the 87 because I feel like I'll enjoy myself a lot more than the B car. But yeah, I can't wait to be back. Happy to end off with this season with my 3rd championship. Once Josh got to 2, I knew I had to go race for a 3rd. Couldn't let him beat me in there. So I guess this season was ego driven a little bit. But yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun racing with Josh and stuff. I love racing with Josh. He's one of the most respectful drivers. He knows how to put his competitor in a bad spot, and he purposely doesn't do it. So I like to give him the same respect back. But yeah, I had a great time this season, and yeah, I'm excited for the next one.
Well, it was great to watch you guys do battle all throughout the season and especially tonight. Thank you so much for stopping by, and congratulations once again on your championship, and good luck on your future endeavors, be it in iRacing and in life. Before we let you go, do you have anybody to thank for your championship run here tonight?
Of course, gotta thank my paint man, the tin can, Tyler Tinsley, for my paint scheme. As we always say, look good, race good. This paint scheme alone gives me 5% of my speed, so I definitely wouldn't have been champion without it. So yeah, gotta thank him. Gotta thank the boys out of SKS with PCR, with William Schmidt, Aiden Walker, and even Cooper Glick. He even contributed to the points championship, the team's championship as well. But yeah, and I gotta thank Josh for great racing the entire season. It was really fun racing him, and I gotta thank all the admins and the league for some fun races this year, this season, and I gotta thank you guys and all the other broadcasters as well for broadcasting this glorious league. Can't wait to be back next year.
Hey,
Josh,
Braden, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
You're from Minnesota, right?
Yep.
Thanks for getting us a championship. We don't get a lot of those up here.
I know. It's a lot. It's a lot being on my shoulders being the best iRacer from Minnesota. I also work at Elko Speedway on the weekends, and during the ARCA race, I posted a picture on Twitter. I was like, nobody here knows I'm the best iRacer in the state. But yeah, it takes a lot to represent the great state of Minnesota. So I'm happy I could do my part.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks for dropping by, Braden. Congratulations once again on your championship. Go enjoy it, buddy. Have a time.
Oh, I will. Thank you, boys.
And that'll just about wrap up our interviews. Let's get a rundown one more time of your. We'll do the top 10 of the race, and then top 10 of the points being at the end all be all of everything. Your winner on the night, Aiden Walker. Josh Chin comes home in 2nd. William Schmidt 3rd. Braden Mubbing 4th. Cole Freilich 5th. Really a who's who of OSRL competition there in the top 5. Chris Lilly, Ross talked about him. A solid effort on those new tires to come up through. Get him a great finish there in the 6th spot. Isaac Johnson comes home 7th. Dylan Dreiling 8th. Jack Painter 9th. John Palmieri rounds out your top 10. Now we go to the championship standings for season 11 of the season 12 of the OSRL Premier Series. Braden Muvick, your champion. We just talked to him. Ever humble. Josh Chin, so close there, 15 points back in 2nd. Ashley Kolonix, a disappointing 3rd place finish for her. William Schmidt, 4th. A great battle all the way to the end for those 4 competitors there. Congratulations to all of them on their championship placing. John Oates, 5th. Aiden Walker, 6th. Justin Knudsen, 7th. Chris Lilly, 8th. Kendall Carpenter, 9th. And Harry Grindell rounds out the top 10 in your final championship standings. Ross, for what's possibly the final time, what's your thoughts on tonight and the takeaway for the season as a whole?
No, I think this was a great race. I know we had some issues at the end with some cautions, but that happens in iRacing. Obviously, trying to get all they can in the final race of the season, and whatever result you bring home is what you got to live with, at least for a little while before the next season. So congrats to Mubik. It was a really fun race, other than those cautions towards the end. To see the championship battle, see the battle for the win, and have kind of two different races going for that, and having them kind of cross over. Super fun. Thank you to you, Hunter and Jeff, for letting me do this. It's always fun to do this in these opportunities. So I appreciate jumping on here, and it's a good race and a great way to cap off OSRL.
It really was. I know these guys are all have mixed feelings about retiring the Gen 4 car. Me personally, it's my favorite car on the service. I love the look, the way they race. It's always a blast to see the racing that this car puts on, and I think in this environment, in this league, you probably couldn't find a better group of guys to go out and showcase this car and its abilities, and showcase the drivers' talents and everything. This league is it's great to see the huge community aspect that this league has. I mean, I don't come in here often. Ross, you've handled most of the broadcast this year or this season, but every time I check in on this Discord, everything's full. Everybody seems to jump in and have discourse, have conversation. Everybody's involved. It really seems like a tight-knit group that is great to call races for, and we wish them luck going forward. I also want to give Jeff Johnson, our producer, a shout out. This Split Second Broadcasting, we don't know the future of it. This might be our final race ever. We don't know what league we go to next, but I want to give Jeff a huge shout out. He puts this broadcast on his back. When we started this point, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, calling races in our Great Lakes Racing League. It was just a passion project, and we've turned this into something that we can share with other leagues. So it's been an absolute pleasure to bring that to other leagues and showcase Jeff's talents and all our other broadcaster talents as well. Ross, it's great to have you in the booth alongside. You have been a great co-host, and I look forward to whatever the future holds for OSRL, for Split Second Broadcasting, the whole nine. Everybody involved has done a phenomenal job putting on a show here this season. For the final time, that'll just about wrap it up here for us on the Split Second Broadcasting Network. I have been Hunter Brittle alongside Ross Brockman in the booth, Jeff Johnson behind the sticks. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you when we see you.